And it's a very good evening, everybody. The hibernation of May has come to an end, and we return to Formula Sprint 1 in GPVWC. My name is Eoin Harmon, and this evening it is the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya for round 7 of the 2023 campaign. And that extended break has certainly given us the chance to catch up on the good weather after the Nürburgring saw a deluge of heavy rain throughout the week that we took part in. And of course, the championship has taken another twist. So hopefully everyone is energized and able to bring their very best to the certainly very interesting circuit that it is, very well driven because of all testing sessions and all that are very popular around here. But nevertheless, the return of the original final corners, that will be something else to consider as we prepare for qualifying. So yeah, I'm currently without my broadcast partner, but hopefully we will hear further as we have our first car leaving pit lane for the beginning of the big qualifying session. So it is Mike Quint now in command of the championship. His lead was able to rise to 20 points over Jack Mayer, as he was able to secure a 5th place and a victory at the Nürburgring. And that leaves the TOP duo tied for 153 points, and indeed Thomas Harvey has the same amount, so 3-way tie for second. But nevertheless, Carlos Martin, a hometown hero for this event, the Spaniard, getting out nice and early, seeing if he can bring that electric pace that we've seen from him at times this season. And we'll see how anyone else will fare in this certainly beautiful evening. Yeah, here we go. It's another run down to the interesting left-hander. That is turn number turn 10. Yeah, it's certainly reprofiled in recent years. And here's Freilich and Mayer, the TOP drivers, who have looked like they were in a very dominant position heading into the last 2 rounds. Unfortunately, it's kind of unraveled in Shimon's case, and his championship lead evaporated. So now Martin completed the revived section at the very end of the course and now enters his hot lap on board through the first chicane. But be mindful of the runoff and the curbs there. If you hit them too hard, you'll be speared off to their side. And now the demanding right-hander can go on and on and on. And he's using all of the runoff he dares without crossing the white line with his right side tyres. So that's keeping within track limits. And now braking hard for the downhill left-hander of 5. And turns 6 through 8 coming up now. Let's see if he manages to hit the on corner exit there. Very good application there. Now turn 9. Very alluring corner, can certainly catch you out if you're not careful on throttle. Now here's the reprofiled turn 10, a lot wider than it used to be. And then the classic corners coming up here. 11 goes uphill to the right, 3rd gear, 150 kilometers an hour on exit. Turn 12, there we go, much more flowing now. 13, and then the final corner 14. Yes, he does hold on, not too afraid of that section. And yeah, Martin beats Lahu to get our first competitive times on the board. Beaulieu a second behind in P3. Let's see what Jack Mayer can do. The TOP FS2 champion of last season there decides to abort the lap. He'll try again next time. Watson, though, he carries on to his lap and finishes 3rd, but then Freilich and Harvey slot in behind Martin. Beaulieu there was one of the first drivers to get on the board, but he's going to start tumbling down the order. Oh, that was a big exit there for Fuentes. Thankfully he held on and will have registered a time there, but it's certainly one that can be improved upon there. 1:21 dead. That's beneath the pace set by Martina. 1:19.0. Thomas Harvey, though, has gone purple in Sector 1. Yeah, still very early days as track evolution will play its part as the session carries on. We'll see if that can be improved upon into sector 2. Yeah, he's done beautifully there. The curbs, no threat at all. Braking as hard as he can. It's a little bit down in sector 2, but if he bounces out in sector 3, then he could possibly overtake Freilich, get into the 119 zeros, and contest that front row. Let's see how he gets on into 13 and then 14 to end the lap. No, that's an abandoned lap, I'm afraid. So, yeah, the Spark Racing team will have to refocus their attention and try again with the next hot lap. Lucchini there, hitting after not being able to set a time that he desired. And Jack Meir, here we go, straight on the power. He needs to get a lap time on the board. And he's looking to prepare his tires for the south lap. So, yeah, he's straight away back on command there, using all of the AstroTurf he can now that he's building up towards his hot lap. Federico Marino here for EP Lab. He is on a hot lap and he's going green for his own personal best time, but obviously he's in the 121 as well. That's not desirable, so he should be able to find a little bit of time now. It's sector 3 going badly wrong, I'm afraid, so he doesn't actually make the gains he was hoping for. Wopke Hoekstra, we saw the best of him at times in the last round. Heavy rain proving to be a benefit for him at times and a struggle also. I'll see how he gets on here. And I heard a buzz in my headset. I think we have our guest commentator, and it's a rescue job again from Ed Hunter. So Ed, thank you so much. How are you keeping?
Good, thanks, sir. Just had to drop everything when I realised there wasn't anyone. Remember when I said we were square earlier? Turns out not quite. So I'm just going to fill in again, I guess. But anyway, FS1, still got 9 minutes of qualifying left to go. And I say almost surprisingly, but it shouldn't really, given that he's a local. Carlos Martin is currently on provisional pole from Simon Freilich, of course. And Freilich, who, as we look at Jack Meyer, on a blistering lap alone, we set a purple first sector. Let's see if he can get out of the top 26, and he does better than that. Eoin, he goes P1.
Yeah, I was saying he did scrap his first lap time. He was looking fairly impressive, but obviously in his own mind it wasn't good enough. But now that he has that pace within him, he does break the 1:18 barrier now. So that's a sign of the times for Jack Meyer, who was on a fantastic podium streak until race 2 at the Nürburgring, which we had shared last month, Ed. So if he can use the time off to restart his streak, then yeah, Mike Quint better watch out.
Indeed, but Freilich, as you say, another blistering first sector of him. It's so close here at the very top in qualifying. Like, you've got the top 2 within less than a tenth of each other, and then you got the top 10 within 7/10 as well. And of course, great, by the way, as you look at Freilich blasting through those last 2 corners with the Mickey Mouse kind of style of chicane gone. And Freilich goes P2, purple first and last sectors, but not quite enough to depose Carlos Martin, who has retaken that pole position.
Yeah. Must have been, just double check his time, how he managed to get there.
Great stuff by Netrex.
Fantastic
Watson
sector 2, yeah, 29.9, sector 2, brilliant stuff there from Martin. Carry on there, Ed.
Yeah, and as you say, sector 2, that's where a lot of the some of the twistier stuff comes into play, really. So clearly Martin able to carry a lot of speed through those sections, and especially turn 9 is in the middle of sector 2, isn't it? That's Campster, which is a really rough right-hander where you basically got to swing it in and hope you don't get stuck on the curbs on exit, as we saw a couple of people falling foul of that in FS2 a few days ago. As we look at Thomas Harvey, of course, Harvey did get that second place, didn't he, in the first race at Nürburgring, before unfortunately suffering from was it a wheel disconnection or a technical issue, didn't he, in the second race, sadly, which limited his score. So we sort of got our 3 contenders that are sort of kind of making themselves known in FS1 at the moment, aren't they? It's Freilich, Quint, and possibly maybe Thomas Harvey.
Yeah, there's a 3-way tie for second place, actually, between Meyer, Freilich, and Harvey. Yeah.
Meyer, of course, yeah.
Yes.
Meyer as well, reigning champion.
Yes. Yeah, Quint has been on Yeah, a fantastic streak of results. Similarly, not anything below sixth place all season. But yeah, that crucial P1 in that deluge that has really set his season into a whole new stratosphere. And if he can actually increase his points lead even more today, that will certainly frighten our other three contenders, and indeed anyone in the high 100s, or in case of Hilla, he's in 111 point range. So yeah, that could be the sign of the times. If anyone else can't make the gain on Quint, it could be a four-way duel for the title.
Yeah, and in qualifying, we've got a very literal sign of the times in form of the timing sheet on the left-hand side, as you can see, Eoin. So it's a very apt phrase to use. As Leho, let's say a purple first sector then. Let's see, about a 10th up on his best in the middle sector. So that is crucial for him. Ken Leho, he can get into the top 5 there, displacing Moynier and Harvey.
Yeah, 1:19.000. So to the thousandth of a second, he's performed an exact lap time there. I love to see it. When it's something that happens to you, I just get a good surge of pride out of it if it ever happens, even if it is a terrible time. Getting the 000 is just aesthetically pleasing. Jack Mayer, he doesn't care about aesthetics. He wants the result. And the purple sector 1 is on target thus far, but sector 2, can he link it up and make Martin sweat? Let's see. Again, the drivers have the technique of using. Oh no, he does decide to abandon it. So yeah, the drivers are able to use 2 wheels off the circuit, but keeping the other side of the tires but behind the white line, so they're able to stay valid. Martin, though, there's a case of over pushing it a little bit. He knows he's already down in sector 1, so let's see if he can cool it and make sure he gets another strong lap time in. And there you go, he is purple sector 2. This is going to be a very fractional call if he can actually pull out that sector 3 time. No, it's quite the opposite. It's overstepping the mark where you need to use that runoff area, and that's a big 360 spin out of turn 13. So yeah, those tires are gone and they'll have to be changed immediately. Freilich will have noticed in this private qualifying session that Martinez has not been able to improve his time. But can Freilich get into the 1:18.8? No, he can't. It's so close. 1300ths. Just that middle sector again, though. Murray Watson, to his credit, he's getting the competitive side of his talent out here, but unfortunately, he'll have to settle for a P4 still with the 3 minutes and a bit to go in this qualifying session. So check out a driver who wants to get away from the back row of the grid and perhaps enter the top 20. Levine Kishore for Pixel 8. He has the potential to find about 0.3 of a second on this pace. Can he actually improve in sector 3 as well? He can, but there's no position gain. It's a 1:20.5, so he just missed out on his personal best. But that was just a disappointment with sector 1, I think, causing him severe time loss. Vincent Gutt, I think that's irredeemable lap for him. They're currently sitting 9th place. 30.677.
Well, all the same, Eoin.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry to leave you alone there, but all the same, if it's an irredeemable lap, it might be worth just... No, okay, I think he agrees with you there, Vincent. Very valued and experienced member of the broadcast team, as well as a very quick driver, so he sort of knows when a lap is irredeemable, I guess. But let's not call Vincent himself irredeemable.
Oh gosh, no,
because I think
definitely not.
He's certainly got an opportunity to redeem himself in the race as well. No, I know you didn't mean it that way.
Yeah, the one particular lap time was irredeemable. 0.7. It's really hard to make that up. But Quint, so far, he's just...
Sorry, I wasn't quiet there because it was lagging a lot for me.
That's okay, no problem. So Quint, I suppose, he knows his racecraft is, it's one of his core strengths. That's what's made him championship material thus far, after seeming like TOP had everything under control. Is this an improvement? Yes, it is, but only at the expense of the driver in 10th. So he slips into the top 10 now. Jan Dragoon, I think, was the one who fell out. There was another change just in the scoreboard as I was trying to calculate in my head. So Jussi Lahtinen for Friesland. The team themselves, they would be middle of the pack, really. 31 points across their representatives, so any more points will be very welcome for them. So let's see if Lahtinen, he's got everything the way he wants it to go, so yeah, this could be a big improvement. Unfortunately, no, he does gain a position, but the maximum potential was lost there, I'm afraid.
Yeah, last sector just let Lahtinen down there. So very experienced academy driver. Recently won his first race in academy and has sort of been moonlighting in FS2 as well. So great to see him also get the opportunity in FS1. But still a lot of learning experiences to go through there as we see Martin. Surely, even though he is by just a hundredth and a bit of a second ahead of Simon Frelick, it looks like he could be on for. Would this be Martin's first pole position of the season? Yeah.
Oh, good question. I think he got one in Bahrain, or maybe
I think he's won a reverse grid in Bahrain,
Yeah.
didn't he? He won a reverse grid. I know got on pole.
Yeah, reverse grid pole in Bahrain, but not actual qualifying pole.
I think it was reverse grid pole. I don't think he's got one for the main grid, but yeah, clearly you put Martin at home, and I saw him in the Formula Sim Racing World Championship race. So he was doing quite well until unfortunately he got taken out by Darius Andre in a sort of marginal collision. But
Yeah, so Jack Mayer, there we go. Sorry, Ed, I think you're lagging there a bit, but Jack Mayer at the death has gotten his
goes
ball
purple.
back. Yeah.
Again, 118.868. That's an absolute lap to extend the advantage just that little bit further from Simon Frelick. So Frelick has got a real fight on his hands as they're relegated down to 10th, as you say, Eoin.
Yeah, I think there was a bit of lag again for you there, Ed. So it's Mayer now and Paul. Frelick does not improve. Stuck in those 118.9 ranges. Martin, I think he's given it his all, but Lehu actually has second. So yeah, that is a split there that keeps Martin off hometown pole. Munier is fifth, actually, beating out Watson. Quint falls back down to 11th. Zabinski up to 9th. So yeah, a lot going on in this final throw of the dice. It looks like a completed session with everyone now completed a lap time or are now back in the garage. So yeah, that completes the qualifying session for the moment. Race 1, 33 laps, of course. It's Jack Mayer by 12 hundredths of a second beating out Alex Lehu. Carlos Martin desperately unfortunate to miss out, so close himself there, but he splits TOP. They have Frelick in fourth place. Munier, Watson, Harvey, Hille, Subinski, and Vincent Gutt are the top 10 runners there. And just outside the top 10, championship leader Mike Quint will be alongside Dragoon, Arda Erkan, Federico Russo, Frank Hamming, Menno Klont, Mirko Lucchini, Luke Mitchell, Matthews Piskan, and Wopke Hoekstra in the top 20. And 21st down to 27th are as follows: Maxime Beaulieu, Seva Panashenko, Jussi Lahtinen, Federico Marino, Levine Kishore, Perseus Miram, and Juanma Fuentes. So now it is immediately at the beginning of the warm-up session, so everyone will now have to dial in their race setups. Weather not a problem thus far. Track temperature up to 44 degrees Celsius, and there'll be the case of which soft, medium or hard compound tire as the dry sets they want to choose for the race itself. It should be a case of perhaps starting out hot and then getting the tire change on and finishing the lap, or finishing the duration, and making sure you can get to the end rather than risking a two-stopper. Hopefully, Ed, if you're working again, you can chime in when you're ready.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you on that. I sort of didn't want to interrupt you there. Yeah, it is sort of going to be about, especially those on the alternate standards, trying to get the hards to last as long as possible, because it does open up the options for you later on, quite literally in terms of switching to the option tyre. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Mike Quint goes for that sort of strategy to try and gain ground, whereas the guys at the front are going to go for potentially a softer compound, try and get to last a mediums of length in the race, and sort of make sure they don't emerge back into traffic when they pit if they can avoid it. Because if you end up being stuck behind someone here, it can be quite painful here at Barcelona, because the only real places you can overtake with the DRS are really into turn 1, and maybe if you're lucky you can maybe go up the inside or potentially even around the outside into turn 4 if you're trying to get the inside for 5 as well into Sayat corner. But it can be, yeah, overtaking, you have to be quite creative here, because the opportunities, they rarely open up, but when you do, you've got to be right in there to take advantage of it.
Yeah, that's certainly true. Not too many low-speed corners. Obviously, turn 10 is the tightest of the lot. Perhaps turn 5 as well, but the way that corner has gradient, it's so difficult to get passing move done there in case you spear off into the gravel trap. Now the drivers are sharing the track in this warm-up session, so any passing tactics may be put into effect here, either through purposeful speed, like if you have the pace advantage, or else could be other drivers needing to move alongside. They're trying to dial in some lap times, but they want to get out of the way of other drivers. You can see behind Munier, for example, there are two drivers getting the arms out. Martin is probably one of them, it could be his teammate. Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, it could be a Watson even. It could be one of
I think it's Omari, yeah. Just trailing behind them, one of the yellow and orange cars, which I'm not experienced enough NFS one to remember what livery that team is. It is Watson, there we go. So yes. 1 out of 2 isn't too bad.
Yeah, very much, yeah.
But anyway, it'll be interesting, like you say, not just the strategy, but also these teams work together. So if Martin, for instance, plonks on one of the softer compounds of tyres and pits potentially into traffic where Watson is down in 5th, a little bit lower down on the grid if I remember correctly, then it could be interesting to see if Watson potentially can give him a tow, not hold him up too much, but also try and make it not look too easy. But also, as teammates, you're allowed to let the other guy through if they're on fresher tyres on a different strategy to gain ground in their own race, because you don't really want to fight too much, ideally, as teammates until the very, very end. Usually is the adequate, I find. Occasionally you might find them bumping into each other at the start, but usually they try and discourage that kind of thing. As we ride on board with Watson then, with 6 minutes in the warm-up left to go.
Yeah, we'll see now that the original layout is back. Get more dirty air, but at the same time a greater corner exit. So yeah, once they have cleared that corner, there you go, you're released straight into DRS over 250 kilometers per hour, as opposed to probably reading 100 kilometers per hour in that same corner with the Mickey Mouse chicane.
Yeah, I did call it that earlier, didn't I?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting because it sort of turns that final 2 corners essentially into more of an adventure where you're carrying so much speed and you just got to be careful. You saw them going right to the outside on the left, almost off track onto the green part of the AstroTurf, just to get the angle that they need for the turn in, because you're carrying so much more speed. The last corner was basically a non-event with the chicane, and now it has essentially become a proper challenge, a little bit like you think of a Puhan at Spa, where you sort of got to lift a bit and then get back on the throttle immediately. So it can be, it really adds to the challenge here. And I think overall, I think in real life at least, we didn't see too many moves into the chicane. In sim racing, I'm also struggling to think of any, maybe like one or two brave passes on fresh tires and things like that, where people weren't worried about damage as much, because of course it's sim racing. But like you say, it's interesting. You said the original form of the track. I think the circuit sort of over time returned to how it looked in 1991, hasn't it, Eoin?
Yeah, it'd be pretty much turn 10, the reprofiling there. That's about the only most modern change. Perhaps, yeah, I know at times in 1994 they would have had the chicane after turn 9 for safety precaution, but they scrapped that straight away the next year. So yeah, it is pretty much the same track that I remember from my time. So we'll see how this affects GPVWC, because the chicane has probably been around for half of GPVWC's lifetime. I'll have to get Will Panisi to correct me if I'm wrong there. He'd know all that information, I'm sure. Yeah, there was probably there's the BC before chicane, and now AD. Yeah, I suppose after whatever you want to call it.
A new era has begun.
Yes, yes. So Mashki Hilla is the fastest warm-up lap time thus far. We'll see if that comes into play. His trademark strategy in race 2 was nullified in the Nürburgring because of the awful weather. But I suppose this opportunity could blossom if he can gain some places on the grid. Build Sim, we know how good they are on their day.
Yeah, absolutely. And Hiller was, despite the terrible conditions, was still able to put up some really good defensive drives. I remember wasn't he in a great fight with Moynier, if I remember correctly, throughout the end of race 1, where I think Moynier got through in a little bit in race 2 as well. I think it might have been someone else he was in a fight with. This was a while ago, and I usually cover the other series, so
they
brain cells.
Third,
Terrible what happened at Nürburgring. Yeah. But anyway, big opportunity for Martin, really. And with 2 minutes 40 left to go, you've got to think that this could be his best opportunity for a race 1 win. The big threat is going to be Frelick on that run into turn 1, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. He'll be able to pick his spot with a run down to turn 1. One of the longest in the season, I'm almost sure of that. Whereas recently there would have been moderate lengths, or in case of Baku, it's a very short run down to turn 1. So Martin following from Pulsator Mayer. That would be very, very fascinating watch to see how they get on. A very inviting first corner for brave drivers.
Yeah. We also see the sausage curbs on the inside there at turn 2, which we saw a few tributes to Icarus, as I like to call it, flying a bit too close to the sun. And you shouldn't really be flying in these cars at all, quite honestly.
No.
But
yeah, don't mention that Frelick. Yeah, you went
of course
miles
not.
in the air.
Oh yeah, of course, in the Nürburgring, but that wasn't even on a sausage curve. That was just on a bit of the terrain off track, as it were, in the rain. But on a personal note, talking about Martin, he's had a really tough year, hasn't he, in 2022, leading into this year, where he got injured and he had to pull out basically from sim racing until the end of the season. And since he's come back, he's really been, overall, a much, in my opinion, a bit of a stronger driver, having gone through all of that, because you could tell he really missed being part of the action when he, I think did he hurt his leg or his foot? I was one of the two. Something that he uses to walk with, he hurt, definitely. And it was great seeing him get that reverse grid win in Bahrain earlier in the season, as we see somebody completely drop it, coming into the little chicane there, just turn 7 and 8. I think that's one of the Hyperions, wasn't it? It might be Pizgazan, who I think has just stepped into the car about an hour's notice before the race, filling in for, I think, Dabrowski, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's either Zubinski or Gazowski, one of them.
And a rear wing goes flying. That looks like an HM Engineering rear wing. Not HM Engineering, I'm thinking of real life, aren't I? Build Sim, I think, probably.
Yeah, Build Sim are the most prominent red team. So yeah, it was Build Sim.
I don't know where I saw a red and black car and I thought HM Engineering for some reason. I mean, F2 mode rather than FS1 mode. Anyway, sometimes the team name just comes into my head and I don't know why. Infamously, as we see warm-up about to end, one of the very, very first commentaries I did, and I got a team called, I think, their name, and I called them Scuderia Oceania.
Oh my goodness.
Because I, for some reason, misread the region they were from. And they were all, needless to say, they were all very offended.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
But anyway, they forgave me with time because the team disbanded, of course.
Okay.
Not because of what I
Yeah.
because I think it was they weren't having a good time on track.
Yeah, very good. So, yeah, we now have our warm-up session in the books. So that means our 33 lap feature race will be just moments away, and then there'll be a 22 lap sprint race towards the end, with reverse grid being decided by a random draw. So we'll see how everyone gets on with their race 1 strategies. Be fascinating to see how it turns out. Yeah, the call to the grid will be in just a moment. So, yeah, I suppose, Ed, you put your pick. Would you say Freilich can go on to win based on your earlier statement on him in turn 1?
I wouldn't bet against him because Simon Freilich is just incredibly fast, incredibly good on the tyres. And we saw even in Nürburgring when he was struggling in the wet and in all sorts of difficulties, he was able to make up ground. So I think if he can have a clean start, avoid Martin, even if he can't get through at the first corner, I think he might be able to use strategy to undercut him and keep that position. But I think Martin's going to give him one heck of a fight, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's certainly a strong point. I suppose, yeah, Lahu was just, he's discreetly got himself a good qualifying spot. So maybe we'll actually get to see him get the podium on video this time. If he missed out in Saudi Arabia, if the tree falls in the forest, no one's around to see it or hear it. Is it really real? So hopefully, now that we can broadcast it, it will be real. So yeah, I'll put my money on Lahu.
Ooh, very brave. I would love to see Alex do well because it's been a while since I've seen him on track in FS1. Of course, he had those difficulties at I think Baku where he got banned from a race or something after that one, if I remember correctly. There was some sort of suspended sentence that meant he wasn't really in action at the Nürburgring.
Pole position in Baku, I think, was stripped, and he had to go down to the back of the grid, something like that, from memory.
Yeah, there's a lot of championships to keep track of, and it's hard to remember how all the drivers are doing. But in either case, Alex Lahu, I think it's great to hear him confident. Somebody in the chat asking for a spotters guide, and I think with all the new drivers subbing in and stuff, I think it would be quite difficult to get one out in time. But the formation lap begins, Eoin, and looks like Freilich already ahead of Martin, which is interesting. Quite ominous, if I say so myself.
Yeah, I suppose he does back down, and we can follow the assigned grid positions, and they are as follows. Jack Mayer on pole with hometown hero Martin alongside, Lahu P3 and Freilich on row 2 there in 4th. Munier completes a good day for TCS in 5th place with Watson 6th, Harvey 7th and Hilla 8th. The top 10, it's Sabinski and Vincent Gutt alongside each other. Championship leader Mike Quint, P11 is lucky number, alongside Jan Dragoon, who was very strong in recent rounds as well. Arda Erkan is subbing in for Frisland 13th, Federico Russo 14th, Hamming has the final point 15th, and Menno Klont for Motorforce just outside there in 16th. Bikini, Luke Mitchell, Matthias Pistian and Wopke Hoekstra complete the top 20. Maxime Beaulieu, Seva Panashenko, Yassi Latinen and Federico Marino, 21st through 24th. And then the final 3 drivers, it's Pixelate's teammates Kishore and Miram, 25th, 26th, and Juanma Fuentes, another Spaniard, taking up 27th and last for EP Lab. And the formation lap, one of the quickest you're ever likely to see. They're very, very efficient drivers today. And there we go, Mayer will take up that grid slot on his left-hand side, and Martin alongside. And there we go, Fuentes.
Yeah, the only problem is Mayer's
his run as well.
got to wait for my Fuentes to slot in at the back now, hasn't he? And yeah, I think it was Mayer. I got completely mixed up. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there we go. The lights come on, and here comes the big getaway now. So let's see what Mayer can do with Martin alongside. It looks like Mayer can. Pickens choose a spot. There's an opening for Lahu on the outside. Martin defends from Freilich. Thomas Harvey watching with interest to see what happens as well. And let's see. That is the other driver for TCS off, Munier on the outside. Yes, my memory letting down. So a few drivers going as deep as they can onto that runoff, and around the outside, Munier hangs it. And now let's see. Looks like they're keeping it routine into. Yeah, there we go.
Hiller and Zabinski just coming together at turn 5 there, but just about surviving then. So Jack Mayer holding on to the lead, so your top 3 are unchanged, but Freilich has lost out to Moynier, crucially. That is the big change that's happened on this first lap, so shouldn't have predicted Freilich to win because it's not gone too well so far.
Yeah, still a long way to go. Let's see if there's a defense from Watson there. Zabinski didn't commit fully, but Hiller with Erkan, who's one of the top substitutions so far, but Mayer is accelerating clear, and we'll see exactly based on his opening sector, it should be 3/4 of a second unless Martinez dragged him in on slipstream. Let's have a look and see what the leaderboard said. It's half a second worth of a lead. Lahu staying third, and here comes Erkan. He wants better than 10th. He's got the inside line on Hiller diving into those braking boards, and amazingly he does defend the position. Dragoon is following Russo for position. Menno Klont is staying in 16th for the moment, but Klont, he's got a great exit out of 3, but 4 is just a little bit too unwelcoming for an overtake on high speed. So Mayer consolidating that lead so far, Ed.
Yeah, and that was brave, by the way, by Massi Achilla to go all the way around the outside of Arda Ercan, using all of the track and a little bit more. And it's a good thing those polystyrene boards were able to be phased through fairly quickly without impeding his race there. But of course, he knew once he had the inside for turn 2, there wasn't really a whole lot that Arda Ercan, the Turkish driver, could really do. As you say, one of the top subs, super subs, and I know a lot about that myself, being one in the commentary box. But here is Menno having another go at Jan Dragoon in front of him. Dragoon, who, is Klont, just loses the rear end there through, that must be turn 14 into 15 and 16 in the last 2 corners. But that is crucial to getting the run into the DRS zone, because that's going to hurt him all the way down here.
Yeah, with DRS going to be open on this lap, but not necessarily on this start-finish straight. The next chance will present itself for DRS. Zabinski, Hiller is just doing his own thing.
That's his racing line now. Yeah.
He's using every bit of the track he can. You can see he's using curbs with his right side tire as well. So Hiller is the Maverick so far. He's taking all the risks. Unfortunately, it's not paying off in terms of any progress. But we'll see now with DRS coming up if anything changes. We'll rain on board for the moment. He's got to watch out for that mini sausage curb there. That's fine. Turn in. He's got to keep it stable on exit as well. Yeah, that's perfect. There we go. DRS opening and shutting again very quickly. Hiller will have to line up his pass on the start-finish straight. Now we see Lahu carrying on his pursuit of Martin. He has the benefit of a teammate right behind him in Munier. That's keeping Freilich at bay in P5, 30 laps to go. We'll be in lap 4. So here's Erkan. He's got his opportunity for the second time here against Hiller. But Hiller, does he have the opportunity to take that unorthodox racing line? Oh, you bet. But on the inside, Erkan just cannot figure out a way beyond that extra bit of turn-in benefit that Hiller has found for himself. So yeah, it seems like Erkan's going to be driven up the wall here. He's going to be very frustrated with that. But Mayer Lost out he lost a tenth of a second to Martin on that last lap, and the Spaniard, he's going to give it everything he can to win at home, and then see what happens with the reverse grid if that proves to be the case. Yeah, it's a good launch there for Mayer though. There's no chance on DRS that time.
Yeah, it could also be Jack Mayer just conserving the tyres for a bit later on. And you see the two TCS off racing cars in third and fourth, as who just completely loses the rear end. Seems to be a common occurrence there, as Hoekstra just gets very, very wide into turn 10, just deep on the brakes on the outside there, and that potentially could lose him a position to Brulio, who isn't too far behind now. But yeah, you see the two TCS off guys are eyeing Martin enviously, and they could well work together to try and dispense of him if Martin pushes his tyres a bit too much trying to catch Jack Mayer. And meanwhile, the highest guy on, is it the mediums or the hards that are the greens on the timing screen, Owen? I think that's Federico Russo and Dragoon. So that explains why Cont has been challenging Dragoon so closely, because he's got the softer compounder tyres. Then behind them, we've got Lucchini, Mitchell, Piskazan, and Panasenko all on the hards, as well as look at Alex Lahu absolutely all over the back of the Netrex of Martin now.
I don't know exactly what colour tyre is the harder compound. I'm afraid I'll have to pay attention to that next opportunity. But yeah, Lahu is giving it everything he's got thus far.
I think it might be the medium, because everyone up here is
medium.
on the soft, aren't they?
Yeah, that's probably it, yeah. No, Lahu is actually gaining on Martin. Has gained a little bit as we carry on the lap. And he's still just not able to make that necessary last bit of a climb to get by. Now almost flat into the final corner, getting back on the power from the straight. We'll now be able to get a clearer picture of what the lap times are. Yeah, so Martin and Lahu about half a second apart from each other, so yeah, we'll see what Beaulieu, who is subbing in for Build Sim actually, we'll see if there is a way past Hoekstra. Thus far it doesn't seem to be the case.
Yeah, no mistakes this time from Hoekstra. We saw going very, very deep into turn 10 not too long ago, as Hiller is trying to go wide into turn 4 now as well. It's sort of like seeing how far outside the circuit he can go without getting a penalty, which he's been doing very well so far to avoid any. But let's see if the Build Sim driver can use that line to any good effect. 4 temps then between himself and Zubinski ahead of him. And it looks like Erchan starting to drop to 7 tenths behind. So Hiller, his unconventional line is warding off Erchan at the moment.
Yeah, it just means he can turn a bit harder into the corner. Perseus Miram has a penalty. I'm not sure what it could be. It could be a launch.
Running at the back, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dead last, unfortunately, for Miram.
Yeah, that's going to condemn his chances.
31 seconds now.
Yeah, he's already half a minute behind, and that's a drive-through penalty, I'd be confident in saying. Yeah, Perseus has little chance of making his impression on the race. Yeah, that is a big disappointment, but Hiller, the way he's able to turn in with the greater angle into turn 1, it makes it very difficult to overtake compared if you were following a conventional racing line. But it doesn't reward him with an attack on Zabinski though. It is a case of everyone is neutralizing each other. So let's check out the replay. This is on board with Munier, how he managed to get past Freilich and into the 4th position. Let's see. So yeah, Freilich is already boxed in. Martin and Lahu are giving him a tough time of it. So yeah, Munier has clean air. There's the opening he needs, and he fills it with great aplomb. Now into turn 3. See a little bit of contact actually. Yeah, Munier will now be able to straighten out the car earlier, get on the power, and Freilich did the compromised entry into turn 4. So he decides to back out and follow the TCS off drivers. Now from Freilich's perspective, he's so determined to get by Martin, but there's no way by in a 3 wide. And there we go, that does open up the gap. Then into turn 3 we go. You can see it's very difficult to maintain the pace he's dropping the gear, so yeah, you can see that's such a gimme for Munier, and he's able to get the ideal defensive line into the corner. So yeah, there we go. That's a big position change to report so far.
Yeah, interesting camera angle. I almost forget that the halo is just behind that because it's so far forward there. As we see, it was that Hamming in a little bit of a battle with... It was Urchan that's dropping down the order. Sorry, Eoin. He's dropped down to 14th then, just ahead of Jan Dragoon. And Dragoon is going to be up the inside at turn 4. And now Urchan finds himself having had some kind of issue at turns 2 and 3. He now finds himself at the mercy of Menno Klont in the Malta for GP car.
Yeah, so the Urchan, I was saying he was going to be driven up the wall trying to overtake Hilla, but now we'll see precisely what occurred here on the race replay. It's just an innocent spin, I'm afraid. It's turn 3. He probably just hit too much curb or turned the wheel too sharply, and that's cost him all but 1 point. And Menno Klont just biding his time in 16th. He may be ready to take the opportunity in a few moments, but Martin on the interval there, he continues to say half a second behind race leader Jack Mir.
Yeah.
And team swap perhaps. Lahu holding on to his racing line though.
That happened at the last corner. That's where it started, because Lahu got on the gravel essentially, going a little bit too wide, and that left an opportunity for Moynier to have a look up the inside, but the two clearly deciding it wasn't worth it. As look, there goes the there's Hoekstra completely under attack from that's Bulio in the build sim car, isn't it? And it's now Panasenko on the attack up the inside of the hard tire shod. That must be Kishore he's fighting with, and Kishore actually able to hold on, and through goes the other car of that must be, is that Pizgazan? No, it's Latinen, of course.
Latinen.
Sorry, it's all these substitute drivers. I should know them because they drive in all the other series. But there we go, nice move by Latinen, very opportunistic there as Mayer continues to be pressurized by Martin, as Lahu has got things under control now as well.
And Mike Quint keeping out of the spotlight thus far, but this is big opportunity around the outside of Zubitsky at turn 12.
Fabulous move there.
Yeah, gorgeous pass. He lined it up after turn 10 and keeping the car stable through 11 up to 12. Zabinski got even more unsettled there, and he's lost a ton of time. But that opening after Hilla there, it's wide open there, so perfect opportunity for Quint to make his case. Martin losing a bit of time, so we'll check out that action replay. How Quint was able to make the moves. Yeah, that does explain it. And he does get the switch as well.
Just got too far on the curb. Yeah, and it just opened up beautifully for him, didn't it?
Yeah, it was the perfect case of, I've got the higher ground, and he's able to command the next corner as he likes it. So there we go. We can see if Quint can maintain his streak of finishing 6th or better in every single race of the 7. The 6 so far, and then now we're into round number 7. Perhaps this is Martin's best opening. He hasn't gained into sector 2 though. Oh, there you go, Mayer. Really using that runoff area to perhaps rescue a small misjudgment. Continues to just hover in the half-second range. This is definitely good DRS boost for Martin though. And he's going to get very, very close, but unfortunately that inside line, it's too far gone, unfortunately. Munier keeping touch tight to his teammate thus far. Oh, sorry about that. We'll carry on with following along with Munier. Very like those getting very close, but in the DRS train, he won't get the reward of overspeed that he needs. We'll see yeah, big chain of 7 cars going all the way back to Watson. They're all half a second split apart in the interval. That lays it out perfectly. No one is able to gain a significant advantage or not. So Lahoo in the middle of it, currently occupying that final step of the podium. Yeah, you can see very, very small margins, but I'd say the pit stops will make the crucial difference depending on who will get the benefit of perhaps the undercut. The undercut could be strong if the traffic, yeah, there's a gap probably in the 18th to 19th sort of range. You can fill in that gap. That's perfect. There we go. Federico Russo has made the move on Zabinski. That is P11 for Alpha Delta. But for Russo's case, he's got to pull away from Zabinski or else he'd risk a counter-attack. Menno Klont has now taken 15th place. Wopke Hoekstra there for HGP is following along with gusto, but any moves aren't going to be presented to him on a plate, that's for sure. Now into more DRS action with the lead pack. Martin is probably, yeah, he's probably alert to the threat from behind more so. Yeah, he's a bit high out of the corner exit compared to Lahoo. He's able to recompose himself and try again. Yeah, just these equal performance cars for the FS1 Championship. It means that every slight move can make a huge difference one way or the other, but at the moment everyone is comfortable with their racing lines. Here we go, we see pit stops now. Freilich and Munier have both decided to play the undercut, go into the harder tyres and plan it to the finish, I'm sure. Freilich stationary for quite some time. And there we go, he's released, but can he beat Munier out of the pits? Oh, it's going to be neck and neck here, Ed, if you're
Munier's got it.
Yeah.
Luckily, the TCS off racing pit box is right at the end, so they are going to come out right in front of, I think that's Hiller, they're just emerging in front of, is it? Yes, it's Masic Hiller and Federico Marino. So they're going to have to deal with a couple of the guys who stayed out on the harder tyres, aren't they? Piscazan and Luke Mitchell first up, and then you got the likes of Lucchini, Dragoon and Russo. As we actually see, that looks like Menno Klont now starting to struggle. We saw Subinski being passed earlier as well on the soft tyres, so he's clearly abused them on the Hyperion car, and it's dropped him out of this sort of train of cars fighting for the lead. There's Hoekstra with the multi-force GP car.
Yeah, he's following along against Klont, but now the leaders have responded. So the advantage of pitting early has spooked our contenders. So Mayer is in, Lahoo is in, and Watson in as well. Gut and Russo in the mid pack also pitting. So let's see what Mayer can do. Watch out! Oh, that's close. Just the pit box are so close to each other, and a double evasive move there for Watson. But Mayer drags his car into the lead again. But now watch out. That's Lahoo, I believe. It's going to be side by side nearly. Hiller though in the background. Yeah, this is all for 9th place at the moment with longer runners, and on the inside this is Munier. Oh my goodness, this is so close. Let's see if turn 4 is an opportunity there, side by side. Little bit of touching, yeah, that is close. But Munier, I think turn 5 is going to cost him here, Ed. He won't be able to get the exit he desires, so Mayer hangs on with the fresh tyres. Freilich has beaten Lahoo on that undercut, so very rewarding strategy for TOP. Yeah, that was the best opportunity of the race so far for a major opening, but Martin has confidence he can go a lot longer than these drivers. So he now pits, giving Mike Quint a chance to lead the race. Thomas Harvey as well, we haven't been able to mention him very often, but we know how good he is on this day. But yeah, let's see if Martin has delivered the optimum strategy. We have to say he's probably under the most threat. So let's see. There's Martin now. So the big start finish straight is going to help these drivers. Hilla on his deep outside move. He's going to pass Martin on circuit. That's loose there for Munier. Freilich got to hang it on the outside. And he does preserve position over Hilla, who is he's on the longer strategy, and he's not going to care less about what these contenders for the win or the podium do. He just wants to carry on with his own team's priorities. So side by side here, Martin on the inside, Lahoo on the outside, and into the gravel trap. It's Alex Lahoo again. Oh, something had to go wrong, didn't it? Oh gosh.
Typical bad luck. He's almost having a difficult time, as I am commentating for more than 5 minutes at a time. But anyway, Alex Lahoo gets himself out the gravel, down in 17th position there. And
there's damage. There must be damage.
Well, there is now, because on the wheels has fallen off there. That's not really how you want to go through cancer, spinning sideways there. But absolutely horrendous luck for the TCS off racing driver. And the three leaders pitting now as well. That's Harmon, Quint, and Lucchini getting off the hards, I think. Well, Quint was on the softs, of course.
Yeah, so we'll check out this replay. Martin on the inside line for turn 7. You'll see Lahoo out of 5. He's hanging on for dear life there, but he's got the space on the outside, but then it shuts down. So yeah, it's just an errant bit of contact from the rear wheel to the front wheel, and Lahoo was not able to turn in on the corner, just so close. And there you go, the contact knocked the steering away from Lahoo, and that's what has delivered a DNF for him. Martin's on board. We'll see now what he's trying to do. He's hanging it in the middle of the track, then perhaps didn't want to compromise, so that's what led to that collision, and that punishment fully lands on Lahoo. He's out of the race.
Yeah, and look at this. Moynier side by side with Jack Mayer then, and this could be for the net lead. With Piskazan has yet to pit in front of them, holding Jack Mayer up and creating that opportunity for Moynier to try it up the inside at turn 10. But Mayer defends beautifully to hold on.
Yeah, Mayer's defensive work has been absolutely exceptional so far today.
Look how wide he's going at the final corner here. Moynier's going to have another great chance down the main straight here. He's getting a double toe off the pair of them. And Moynier pulls out to the right in though.
He does, certainly. And Piszczan has to stay alert on the outside and contact with Freilich and Hilla. There's going to be no give between them. Hilla knows this is so important, particularly with the possibility of reverse grid benefits when he makes his pit stop. Piszczan, he's probably going to have to hang it around the outside again. Hilla would be absolutely delighted to get the position away from the Hyperion driver, and he's got it. So now Freilich, he hits Piszczan, wants him out of the way ASAP, and he gets his wish, but Martin has the next in line command to say the driver on the long stint, get him out of sight and out of mind. But Thomas Harvey now, he is now able to make a case for his championship bid, following along in the
late on the brakes from Martin, but he's just about pulled that off, and that's Harvey into the side of Piskazan.
Yeah, and Watson has to be alert as well, because not only has he got his teammate battling for position, he's also got Mike Quint right behind. So it's just such a dilemma for these drivers on the faster tyre with the long stinter. They want to race fair and clean, but with windows that were previously closed shut, now they're gaping with the tyre strategy. They've got to attack as well. So yeah, there we go. Piszczan is now fully out of the way of the drivers who have taken to the pit lane at some point. Yeah, that was definitely balancing act for those drivers, but now he can concentrate on the lead battle again. Mayer versus Munier and Hilla. However, he's managing to go long here. This is absolutely remarkable. He has still got life in those tires yet, so we'll see how he's gotten on for for position here. Maybe he did one. Yeah, he did pit early, so Hilla is actually on fresh tires himself. So that's my mistake.
Yeah, they are fresh tyres, but they won't be as fresh by the end of this race compared to those around, or the end of this stint at least, if everyone indeed is going to pit again. But you saw Martin almost was up the inside of Frelick as well and all of that. And the big winner of all of this in terms of time has been Mike Quint, who's now only 4.7 seconds off the lead, considering he started down in, what was it, 11th or 10th?
Yeah, P11 for number 11, that's how I remember that. But now Hilla is going for the inside line. He has to abandon his preferred AstroTurf line that had actually been copied by Jack Mayer since, but no position gain. Perhaps, the wobble. I was just going to say,
pushing them too hard. I think he might be putting too much heat in those tyres.
Yeah, perhaps he is burning them a bit too rapidly. But yeah, the shoe's on the other foot. Hilla knows what it's like to have that outside turn in played against him. But his teammate for the day, Maxime Beaulieu, he wants to contend for 1 point. Luke Mitchell, who ran longer first stint, now he gets to go onto softs to round out the race. Or potentially maybe he has to play a two-stopper if he's trying to take an extraordinary gamble. So we'll see now. Hilla, he's got the command of Frelick thus far. His priority is still to beat Munier and get further up the field.
Yeah, I think Frelick has got his hands full with Carlos Martin. As we see Frank Hamming, now it's his turn to go on the attack on the Hyperion. He's going to try round the outside, just like we saw Mike Quint do earlier. But this time, Piskazan cuts across, so Hamming will have to go up the inside. And there we go. There's just no grip left on the tyres of that Hyperion, are there, Eoin? So Piskazan has got nothing left to fight with out here.
I'm afraid not. So whatever number...
Hilla back to the usual line.
Yeah, his probably his calculations, they probably worked out on paper, but unfortunately the other drivers just have something up their sleeves and they need him out of the way. So we'll see if there will be a stubborn run to that pit stop lap that he needs. You know, he has lost tons of time and he's been picked off one by one. But the battle for first is very much alive again. It was a queue of 7 cars before the pit stops, and it could still very well be as we check out the onboard of Watson. That's
that's Martin. That's Frelick who had an issue at turn 9, and now
wide.
He's going to try and go all the way around the outside, and Frelick has to be so careful not to just clunk into the side of the Netrex there. But there we go. He just about survives and cuts back across in front. So that was scary, scary times there for the man second in the points.
Yeah, Frelick knows he can't afford any more drop scores, especially with his teammate. He has the command thus far of those championship 4 I calculated at the start of the race. So there we go. Check out our replay now. On board with Frelick. Yeah, just turn 9, the rear end giving up on him before he could even commit to the turn. Martin on the outside, not able to get all 4 wheels in front, and just the flow of the circuit benefited Frelick again. So, yeah, with Watson as well in P7 watching on to see if he can make it a very strong double for Netrex. Yeah, he's at the back of the queue, but yeah, he is not quite as close as he was before. But Hilla, definitely a huge gambler of the race. He's made a very strong case for himself, gaining 5 places from qualifying, and he has the desire to get a 6th place improvement if Munier is able to be outsmarted, but so far it's not happening.
Yeah, Moynier really fighting to save the day for TCS off racing after the misfortune that befell Alex Lehoux earlier on. And there we go, into the pit. So Moynier once again trying to call it on strategy to put pressure on Jack Mayer now. So what's the strategy here then, Owen? Surely he's going to put softs on to the end now.
Yeah, the softs to the end, I agree, Ed, but it could be a reverse grid pole thought, because Lehoux out of the race, he's going to be routed to the back for race 2 as well. So if he gets the soft tires on, he can make gains towards the end, probably get a top 10, or even better if these medium tires do not last as long as predicted. So there we go. Track temperature staying stable. It's actually gone up a little bit since I last
and he's
checked.
going to get ahead of Lattinen.
Oh.
Lattinen, just backs out and spins completely at turn 2. There we go. So Lattinen completely getting it wrong there. Bit of a rookie error there. Lucky he didn't go over the sausage curb.
Business, yeah. But I suppose you have to. If something like that does happen, you just have to adapt as quick as you can. So we'll check out on the onboard. Lattinen's got the turn in. His apex is blocked, and unfortunately, on corner exit, he's pitched into a spin.
He got the rear wheel on the blue AstroTurf on the runoff there, and that's what made him lose grip. And now Hiller is responding. He comes in for the second time.
Yeah, I'd say he'd be gritting his teeth to make sure this all works out as planned. So maybe this will force the TOP guys to think about it now that they are lined up together, first and second. Martin following along in third place, so perhaps with DRS, it's so close between a 1 second gap or not. So maybe Mayer needs to slow down just a smidge to make sure his teammate stays in DRS. So Hiller comes out in 15th. He has overcut Munier there.
Yeah, Moynier just got held up a little bit by Menno Klont, unfortunately. He did set a really good middle sector, 30.6. Everyone else is in the sort of 31s, essentially. But the problem was having to get past Klont in, I think, in the final sector there really ruined any chance he would have hoped of holding that net second place. Or will it indeed be net second if all these guys stay out? I'm not sure it will. So Hiller, he's covered off Moynier, but he could give himself a lot of work to do in this final 10 laps.
Yeah, that is certainly the case. So if drivers want to stick to the one-stop strategy, then every corner they come up against has to be spot on, or else that lap time benefit will be horribly taken away from them. So yeah, this track position is key, but yeah, having the quick tires in the sunshine, that could pay off later down the line. So we're on board with Luke Mitchell here. Rowan GP will be satisfied with this run so far, with Arda Erkan in the pits. This could be a move for 10th position against Lucchini, and side by side they go. Oh, they're going to stay for as long as possible. Mitchell has it on the inside line. Splendid pass there, and Vincent Gutt as well for Spark is in range. So Mitchell feeling very, very confident now that he can go to the end and make as many points as possible for his team. Hilla gets purple sector 1 here, Ed, so this is ominous signs for the race leaders if this carries on.
Yeah, Mitchell of course pit much earlier though for those soft tyres, so he's going to really be struggling to keep them alive at the end, because let's have a look. He pit on he's on 9 lap old soft tyres, whereas Hiller and Moynier have only literally just pit a lap ago each. And it looks like Hiller is already starting to drop Loic Moynier, so it's worked very, very badly for TCS off racing, because even if this strategy ends up being the right one, the best they can do is maybe be sort of second in that train. But the TOP guys have really got to work together here to make sure they don't hold each other up too much. Although Frelick, I'm sure, will be very, very happy if he can hold on to second, because the big thing they've got advantage is that they've got so many cars for Hiller and Moynier to pass. So that's going to make it difficult for them to gain that many positions, because they're going to lose so much time having to do those overtakes. These guys can, as long as they can keep the tyres alive without completely dropping off a cliff, they should be able to hold on, I would think, Eoin.
Yes, it's definitely plausible that they can hold on, but 2 seconds separates Hilla and his march, 120.1 against Mayer's 122.5. So yeah, that traffic element will definitely play against Hilla. He's got
Frelick on the curb again there. Sorry to interrupt, Eoin. That's Frelick on the curb again at turn 9, which allows Martin to close up once more. So that definitely takes the pressure off of Jack Mayer at the head of this train. He's actually driven completely sublimely, I think, all the way through to hold on to that lead. Moynier and Hiller couldn't really make impression on. It doesn't look like Frelick is that his teammates have been able to sort of disturb him at all. And up the inside of Zabinski goes Maciej Hiller for 12th position. So it's let's look at the gap to the lead then. It is 21.5 seconds then, so it's staying fairly stable at the moment, but he has been closing in chunk by chunk whenever he's been able to clear those cars, hasn't he? And we got some traffic as well for Mayer. That's really not going to help him.
Not at all, but yeah, it is a case of Frelick just doing the bare minimum he needs to stay in the slipstream of his teammate and keep everyone else behind. So yeah, lap traffic coming up. I think that's Miram, it could be. He's going to be
Russo
down.
and Lucchini have also bailed for the pit lane. So their strategies, they thought they were not quite going to be able to get the hards and the softs respectively to get to the end. So they're changing over for another set of softs. And that makes Hiller's job a little bit easier because now he's 10th.
Yeah, that's one less car to worry about for Hiller. Two fewer, excuse me. Yeah, he will be next, catching up to Luke Mitchell, who will be on older soft tires. But yeah, if Mitchell carries on this form, it could be a little bit. Oh dear.
That's one way to get out of the way. Spin off into the gravel, I'm afraid. I believe that was Hoekstra in the HGP, because he's just gone lap down, so I'm assuming that's him.
Yeah, good spot there. So yeah, Hoekstra down and out really, but he still has the chance to get into slipstream there. I think that will be one of the other cars. It's not Latin anyway. He's in the Frisland. Very colourful car that. So yeah, disappointing for Hoekstra, but as the race plows on, got 6 laps to go.
Mitchell heading now as well. That puts Hiller into the top 8. But yeah, I don't see 17.5 seconds. There's been cutting the cap quite a lot now. It's going to get closer and closer as they get to the end. But I think Hiller's going to run out of laps. You can't pass 5 cars in 2 or 3 laps.
No, that wouldn't be possible, unfortunately. So this is on board with Hoekstra. You can see he's turning. And actually does complete that corner, but yeah, it might have been someone else actually.
Might have been Juan Fuentes then.
Yeah, it could have been Fuentes. So yeah, that's
in the EP lab, yeah, which is the white and orange car, isn't it? So it was Fuentes. Apologies there to Hoekstra, who's actually been doing fairly cleanly in the scheme of things. Yeah. But anyway, the Tier P cars still leading the way from Martin, and with 5 laps to go, Hiller, let's keep a look on that pace of the Build Sim car. 120.1. He's lapping a second lap faster, but even that, got a 10-second gap to Frank Hamming. It's really going to be unrealistic for him to get through unless there's some mistakes up ahead. Yeah,
so I think this is the replay we believe we wanted to see. Originally, there's Fuentes getting a bit loose.
Those tires don't look like they got much life in them, do they?
No, he's probably taking them as far as he can. We know he started in last place on the grid, so any position he gains at the end will be an improvement. So here we go, he carries on through turn 10 into 12. Yeah, maybe it wasn't him either, so we can't find the source of the accident.
Oh dear. I think it might have actually been Perseus Miram then, because that's the only person I think of who's not on the lead lap. He's 2 laps down, so that must have been him letting them through for a second lap. They are all starting to bunch up together up front. And there, just in the background, you can see Hiller and I think Hamming just coming over through turn 9. So unfortunately, Hiller, he's only a few seconds out behind Frank Hamming, but there's the 5-second gap between Hamming and Quint, who's the next guy in front of him.
Yeah, there's a huge amount of clean air between those two, but yeah, the leaders are staying stable in the 122s. That's the target. So with 5 laps to go, yeah, it seems like Hiller's gamble's not going to pay off, barring remarkable turnarounds. We'll now check out another Hyperion. This
Urchan up the inside.
Yes, Urchan. Wow. Oh, he's going to hang it all the way to the end. This is a decade or more in the making. An attack into turn 14. Staying committed, but there we go. Urchan has the position, but now a double slipstream for Federico Russo. And unfortunately, yeah, for Eoin, he's out of the way now, so Russo should make the gain, but there's wheel to wheel still. Oh, Pischan wanted to commit even harder, but it's not enough.
That was a surprisingly clean overall, I think. Lovely zim side by side through the final two corners there. Pischan and Eoin, the two super subs. But now Klont is looking very vulnerable to Eoin.
Yeah, it'll be a big opportunity here for Klont. He's got to hang on the inside. But Eoin, he's got nothing to lose, really. We want to impress his team today, and I think so far, I believe he has shown a lot of courage today, and we've known that he has the pace on the opening laps. Just perhaps the strategy cost him some time when he had to plan for it. But on the outside of Klont, he's got to hold it for as long as he can, and then the corner will join him for turn 12. There you go, the inside line for the next corner, and then the one after and the one after. But it's not necessary. Eoin is through.
Yeah, wow, 2 laps in a row, he's pulled the same move there. So Eoin absolutely flying out there. It's going to get himself into contention for the sort of reverse grid area, isn't he?
Yeah, he's in the range of...
and here comes Russo.
Solid game, but on the inside, yes, as you say, Ed, it is Russo. Klont, yeah, I suppose he wants to play it safe. He didn't qualify in the top 15 originally.
Yeah, he's on the hard tyres. These are the wrong tyres to be on at this point if you're this far down the pack. He hasn't got a cushion behind to protect him like the leaders do. Let's have a look, though. Hiller is still about 4.5 seconds, I think, behind stuck behind Frank Hamming, isn't he?
Yeah, he didn't appear in the deep background.
There they are.
Yeah, you can probably just see the very, very background there out of turn 10. There was a shimmer of red, but it's still the original 5 or so drivers.
And that's Moynier in trouble because he's dropped behind Sapinski again.
Yeah, Munier's down positions.
Yellow in sector 2, so I think somebody got put off track there. And Moynier continuing to drive. Well, that would be why. He's having to take the old inside line there.
Yeah, that's farewell to points for TCS off. A double heartbreak for them today. He can get the car back to the pits if he just hangs on. No, he's going to spin 180. He's got... he's going to try and get very careful. Yeah, he's using the previous layout of the track to spare his blushes here.
Not sparing much. It's all showing up on the broadcast, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to bomb with the chicane. Careful over the sausage curb. But I think even Loic Moynier of his level of car control, a crabbing car of no rear wing is too much. Even him now, front wing in the pits as well. That's the problem. He's playing ping pong with the walls there, and Moynier looking considerably worse for wear.
Now we do have the replays for this accident out of 9. Still
He's
middle
lost
of
it. He did exactly what we saw Frelick and a couple others do earlier through turn 9.
There we go. Yeah.
In fact, was that not what Lahou, his teammate, did as well? Exact same thing.
Lahou was a bit early. He was trying to go side by side with my team. Oh dear. Oh, that's horrible.
So early as well. Carrying just too much speed. The rear tyres cried enough. He was clearly pushing to catch back up on the softs. And it all went wrong as we see Harvey up to 3rd. So something's gone wrong for Frelick up front.
Yeah, Frelick down to 6th. And yeah, one replay leads to another. So Frelick has a major malfunction, I'm afraid.
Yeah, he's pushed the tyres too far because now Hamming is all over the back of him, and there's Hiller not far behind either.
Yeah, that's certainly a possibility. Yeah, it looks like his turn.
And this means his title rival Quint is now going to finish ahead of him.
Yeah, that's devastating. So I suppose the priority for the team is to get him across the line and try again in the reverse grid race. Oh, it's out of the final corner. The gravel trap unsettled the car completely, but well done. He did catch the spins eventually. That's cost him a lot of time. So watch that again from the onboard. It's the car's on the outside. Yeah, that's going to spook the car.
Well, he had the presence of mind to keep out of the wall, though, at least. Yeah, so excellent reactions from Frelick. And if he can just hold on to that 6th position, he can limit the damage of that spin. But Hiller is looking set to punish him. If he can only clear Frank Hamming. And finally, Hiller's had something happen up front. I did say it would take a mistake, didn't it? And it's happened.
Yeah, but in fairness, his last lap time was 1:25, so that's probably a case of his tires have extinguished into some. Yeah, you can see in the background there he is. Hamming will take full advantage there of Freilich struggles.
Oh,
yeah, Hilla is now in the 123, so those cars are burning.
Yeah. So behind Freilich. So it's going to be someone just trying to get back on the lead. So is that one of the Rowan GP cars, I think? Anyway, but here's Quint then. Suddenly with a shot of a podium. We wouldn't have expected that at the beginning of the day, would we? Given where he qualified. And it's only Thomas Harvey ahead of him, but I think there's not enough. There's only a couple of corners left in this race. It's going to take almighty miracles. We see Zabinski being overcome by Erchan, who's down to the top 11. Take a bow, Arda.
Yeah, what a great cameo this is for Arda. Quint, you did say in the build-up, Ed, that Quint's strategy, he'd have to think of one that would benefit his racecraft, and he certainly has found it. So can he threaten into the final corners? It doesn't seem like it, but Jack Mayer has got to survive one more corner. It's not a guarantee until it is a reality. Over the line he goes. There are yellow flags on the straight. A loose car there. It might have been one of the Hyperions.
It's the E-Lab car. I think that's...
E-Lab, excuse me.
That's Juan Fuentes. And we saw a front wing missing as well. The turn 15, I think. Just as Jack Mayer was going through to win. Bought an excellent drive by Jack Mayer, who wins by 4 seconds over Martin. And Martin, it ends up the top two finishing where they qualified, but Martin certainly had to fight to hold on to that second place. And in the end, it was a mistake that he pushed Freilich into, really, that enabled him to finish there. So a great points there for Netrex, second and fifth for Watson as well. Yeah,
that's sublime for them. But yeah, Jack Mayer converting. It
wasn't Fuentes. There's Fuentes' front wing.
Excuse me. Yeah.
I misspoke.
Yeah, Mayer did manage to convert that Paul into race one victory. But how he had to work for it. He was defending with everything he had from Martin earlier in the stint, and his teammate as well. He had to be wary of any potential mistakes in case he had to give up position. But no, he kept it strong all the way to the end. And indeed, the TCS off guys were a strong contender for the win as well, but it faded away for them. But there we go. Look at the finishing order as it stands, Ed. Jack Mayer hanging on with an absolutely wonderful drive there. Everything that he was asked to do, he finished brilliantly. Martin, I'm sure he'd be buzzing with a second place at home. With Thomas Harvey, he was out of the spotlight, but he gets a podium. Mike Quint gaining 7 positions from his starting point, with Watson completely top 5, Hamming, Freilich, Hilla, Gut and Russo in the top 10. Arda Ercan for Frisland, that's a fantastic drive for him. Similarly with Luke Mitchell in P12, we saw him having a strong stint on soft tires. Zubinski, Hyperion, I'm sure will be stressed out of their minds there, but they do get some points for their efforts, with Lucchini 14th and Menno Clant getting solid point to back up his teammate there in 15th. Pisjan as well, he had it tough but stayed firm, with Boliu, Latinen, Panashenko and Marino in the top 20. Levine Kishore is...
it was Kishore who crashed at the end.
Yeah, Kishore had the crash at the end, but he is classified ahead of Hoekstra. I may want to get some clarification on that, just in case.
Kishore is actually 24th in the final order.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so Kishore's out of position now on the graphics. Hoekstra, Fuentes and Munier. Munier, of course, had that crash, but he beats out Kishore on our screens. DNFs for Lahu and Dragoon, but Perseus Miram there in 25th, 2 laps down. Yeah, Ed, I'm sure that, again, on even shorter notice than last time out, I'm sure your breath has been taken away and you need to get it back.
Yeah, well, I unfortunately I was sort of forced into some breaks because my computer was lagging a lot, but I fixed whatever the issue was. I don't want to go to bore our audience too much, so I was able to, for the second half of the race, I was a bit better. But yeah, pretty action-packed. It sort of all stemmed from that train behind Jack Mayer, didn't it? Which, like I said, was really what enabled Mike Quint to sort of get past Amari Watson and take advantage of the mistakes from those around him. And horrible misfortune for TCS off racing, but a great day so far, at least for Netrex, with the 2 cars in the top 5.
Yeah, they'll be probably the happiest team of the lot. Mayer has been the strongest out of the drivers who are trying to chase down Mike Quint. That DNF that was out of Jack's control in Germany. He's made up the perfect response for it. So we'll see if he can carry that on into race 2. Yeah, exactly. He's very very decorated driver, of course. But if he carries this on, Quint will have he'll have plenty to say if there's a way to respond to him. But for the moment, let's take a quick break and wait for the reverse grid draw. So stay tuned. We'll be back in a few minutes. And welcome back, everybody, to Formula Sprint 1. The second race with reverse grid will be taking place in just a few moments. Ed Hunter is alongside me here after another last-minute substitution for him. So we'll wait and see if there's any news on the reverse grid. I don't see any thus far. Ed, do you see any updates?
I didn't realize I was supposed to be looking for any. I was hoping I'd just look at the grid and see who was on pole. That tends to be a pretty reliable method. But anyway, so yeah, after Jack Mayer taking, I think that's his third victory of the season, is it? If I remember correctly?
No, it's his fifth.
Fifth, there we go. I was underestimating him. But yeah, what a great drive in race 1. And you got to think now, the challenging part is going to be making his way back through. It's going to be a case of doing something clever with the strategy. You've got 10 laps less to work with, of course. So we might see a couple of people try and get the hards to the end in the sprint reverse grid race, but I doubt it, though. I think most people are going to try and do at least a stint on the softs here.
Yeah, the slashing of a third of the race should definitely make one stops the optimal strategy. It's the case of some drivers thought they could mix it up a bit and try and go two-stopper with the heat, taking the soft tires out of optimum window for quite some time. So yeah, it should be a standard enough one-stopper, and then everyone should be able to try and win the race on track, really. So we'll see who has indeed got the reverse grid pole. Probably still. So it's actually Federico Russo. There we go. So his number has turned up, and he will get the chance to lead the grid away. So that must have been number 10. Was that the? It must have been number 10 for Federico Russo.
I thought Russo was 12th, is that his car number? Sorry.
No, his number is 22. So was he? No, it must have been. Yeah, you're right. 12th.
I thought he was behind Eoin, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
He was finished just behind him. So
yeah.
So yeah, it's our 12th place man that gets elevated to the top, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to finish there, of course, Eoin, because he's got 22 laps to negotiate and a field of very quick, very hungry guys behind him looking to demote him as quickly as possible. So Russo has got to be on his A game here. Leading the pack can be a daunting experience if you've not done it before, but I think Russo should be just about okay. And is that one of the TCS off cars alongside him on the front row?
Yeah, it'd be Vincent Gutt for Spark, actually.
Oh no, it's Spark. Yeah. No, it's not TCS off car. Very similar livery, Lewin. Yeah, but that's of course Thomas Harvey's teammate, isn't it?
Yeah, TCS off towards Spark, but we'll catch up to them later on. Is Federico Russo on pole with Vincent Gutt alongside Maciej Hilla and Szymon Frelich. I think they'll be fancying the chance to win from this position. Frank Hamming, great drive for him in race 1. Now he benefits with 5th place with Watson in P6. Quint hoping to maintain his championship lead, 7th with Harvey 8th. Martin 9th, and Mayer the winner in 10th place. Urchan 11th and Mitchell 12th. So maybe they'll get to shine again with the opportunity for a reset. Stravinsky and Lacini 13th and 14th. Clant hangs on to that 1 point for 15th with Pischan into 16th. Beaulieu subbing in for Bill Sim today, 17th with another sub, Jassi Latinen 18th. Panashenko and Marino complete the top 20. Bobka Hoekstra and Juanma Fuentes are declared 21st, 22nd. Munier has the fight of his life to recover from that crash in 23rd. Levine Kishore in 24th. Perseus Millerm, the other Pixelite car, 25th. And then Alex Lahu, who had that tangle with Carlos Martin, he will be 26th and last.
So interestingly, Watson, Quint, Martin and Urchan, so that is 6th, 7th, 9th and 11th place, all starting on the harder compound. So they're going to run really long in this first stint, whereas pretty much everyone else apart from Fuentes and then the two TCS off cars in Mounier and Lahu, the back, they're all on the, everyone else is on the softs. So it's going to be really interesting to see which strategy plays out, as all the top three have arrived pretty early then. So it's like Russo in a bit of a hurry to get into this grid slot. Doesn't want to be late, although I don't know what he'd be late for really, because the lights aren't anywhere near. We're waiting for Lahu at the back here before we get going.
Yeah, so the drivers would certainly be informed about how the opening stint went in race 1. It was a big DRS train. and no one was able to make a critical pass.
Here we go.
Then it all went in strategy, but here we are. The lights are on, and it is race 2 underway. 22 laps to determine a winner. I think Hoekstra has broken with his launch there. He jump-started for sure. Here we go with Russo staying in the middle. It does open the door for Guts or Hilla on the outside. Oh, that's brave. And watch out, Gut there. He's got a safe Freilich on his outside. And this is a big loss, unfortunately, for Spark. They will be worried now for Guts. He's probably got to back out in case Hamming also comes in for the attack. Oh, no, there's contact. That would be Zabinski. Might hit.
I think Panasenko. I think you collided with Panasenko, I think. So that's a big shame for those two, seeing them sideways, the two Hyperions. Now starting to get down the figures. Oh, is that Erchan being spun around there?
That might have been Erchan, yes. And Latin made an unfortunate bit of contact, so we won't.
All the teammates running into one another. Somebody going through the gravel there without a front wing. That must be Hoekstra.
Yeah, so he's already got trouble on Pischan deep on the inside. Panashenko has held firm though, while he probably tries to settle back in behind Beaulieu. So yeah, it is Hoekstra. Already penalised.
That penalty as well. As here we go, side by side go Harvey, and that looks like is it Luke Mitchell being pushed out here?
It is Luke. He has the chance to counterattack though. Lots of drivers, including the Malta forces, are getting deep on the inside to make sure they get that slipstream. Side by side though, it is Harvey probably just about able to defend. Mitchell
inside for free, so Harvey is through.
Yeah, Harvey. Oh, Lucchini into the gravel. He'll be able to rescue that, no problem, but he's got to be alert to those. The Friesland drivers coming at full pelt, and thankfully that was the case. So we'll check out Munier and his climb up from the second last row on the grid, but he is behind his teammate though. Lahu.
Yeah, and Lahu started dead last, and he's 18th now.
Yeah,
so let's see if that progress continues.
Making a real impression early on, but in terms of getting into the points bank positions, he's still got a way to go. Full credit here to Russo. With Hilla, we know how amazing his pace was on the fully fresh softs before his second stop. But Russo was having a very commanding opener, and he may have broken DRS. Could be a close run thing. We'll follow Harvey into the final corner. Russo fastest lap again. With DRS to come in the next sector. Harvey, this is crucial for the championship because Martin, who wants to make his own ascent back up the order, he's got to follow his teammate, but maybe he's given up too much room. Harvey's gonna go wheel to wheel, it doesn't pay. And Mitchell, well, yeah, that's a very scary prospect to have Luke Mitchell right in that territory, just in case he lost time. But Pischan on the inside of Mike Quint, and that's going to count here, Ed. That's a beautiful move.
Yeah, lovely stuff from Pischan, because he was not put off at all by fighting with Mike Quint there. Up the inside, Quint left a little bit of a gap into turn 4, and that was all the invitation that Mateus needed to dive up the inside. And now the other, Bill Simabulio, of course, is all over the back of Mike Quint. So Quint on the harder tyre, really struggling to keep with the pace of the softs at the moment. All the high tire runners have been sort of left themselves vulnerable in this stint. We see Watson and Martin and the two Netrex is struggling, and now Klomp is going to lose position. His try goes around the outside of Bulio, but he's going to lose another position, this time to Panasenko, who's going to go around the outside. There we go, completing the move then. At 10-11, no, he tags Panasenko around, and it's absolute bedlam behind now as there's somebody else crashes in. That's one of the EP lab cars, I think.
Yeah, Marino is tumbling down the order. So yeah, disaster for Panashenko. So that's going to shake up the order in that range of cars. Yeah, it's going to be 3 wide. Harvey in the inside line. Oh, Carlos Martin hangs on in there, and Quint as well. Oh, that was absolutely on the limit for these drivers, but thankfully they all held on. But yeah, the hard tires have to be warmed up quite significantly at this stage. Harvey may have an opening into turn 5. No, he won't get the inside line, unfortunately.
So Mitchell and Pizchan have both made it by Carlos Martin, but now Harvey and Quint are stuck behind. So the two title contenders are really being held up by the hard tire runner of Martin, and we're going to see Watson start to hold up Mitchell soon when he catches up. No! Harvey, you were never going to get through on the inside there. That was way too ambitious, my friend.
And that's his chance of points in deep trouble. He may need more chaos to occur for a rescue job here. His tires, they could be flat spotted as well if he, had a big slide and then hitting the uneven gravel. So we'll see how he recovers. But
Martin's not made himself popular in the chat, it would seem, with the others.
Yeah, I'm sure we can flash that all out after the race. But yeah, the drivers, it was a relatively calm opening stint to race one, but it's a total opposite in the sprint race. Knowing 22 laps makes such a big difference to strategy. Zabinski, in fairness, now that he can actually let his hair down and not have to worry about any other drivers now that he has taken the softer tires. And Lahu is into a points paying position now. This is P15, and the fact that he's actually making these tires work, this is a big improvement for Lahu's fortunes. Here is the jump start for Lopke. He knows what he's done straight away. He does try
coming to a stop. It's too late.
It's just too late. And then you can see on the outside, Ercan, he was stranded there with his teammate, spun around. He had to crawl through the gravel trap. And another replay lined up here. This was Harvey battling away.
Mitchell on the outside, isn't it?
Yeah. So Mitchell.
It was a lovely move by Harvey, but it's a shame he almost immediately lost that position.
Yeah. And then our next onboard shot is of Menno Klant, who will be hitting Panasenko.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Did Panasenko turn in from the outside, or did Klant just understeer into him there? I don't know. It's a bit hard to say. And this is the key one, isn't it? Harvey peeking his nose up the inside. Got a little bit alongside, but I don't know. I feel like Martin stuck to his line there, and maybe didn't see Harvey in time really to leave any space, but that's going to be contentious for sure.
Yeah, there will be plenty of thoughts on that as the race goes on. But yeah, let's focus on Jack Mayer, who wants to go for the really the perfect outcome of the race. Pole position in qualifying, a race one victory, and now he's trying to climb his way up the order and try and go for the clean sweep. So far, P6 is nothing to be taking for granted here. You could give Frank Hamming a cause for concern as we head on board with Alex Lahu now into 14th, and Menno Klant, no doubt he's got the team game in his mind. He wants to block Lahu's progress, giving Quint the chance to pull away on his harder compounded tires. Yellow flags in sector 1, but nothing seems obvious to me. But Frank Hamming holding strong here as he tries to follow Vincent Gutt, who had started P2 but has fallen 2 places. So we'll see how Hilla and Freilich do with that.
It looks like Watson is the one who'd lost some positions there, because Mitchell and Pizchan are now both through for 7th and 8th, so the two Netrexes on the harder tyres falling to 9th and 10th. But they've got to hope that they can get that tyre life to sort of help them out later in this stint, because we're sort of getting to the point where the softs will stop performing as strongly and the hards will come into their own, or the mediums rather. And Lahu, I think, has done very impressively to gain so much ground on the harder compound, because that's really going to benefit him later on.
Yeah, he can certainly go another 8 or 9 laps with confidence, and then see if he can probably sprint to the end. On board with Simon Freilich, who wants to rebound after race 1. It didn't go to plan with that spin at the final corner for the podium. Yeah, it's on the cards at the moment. He has DRS advantage over Gutt.
Oh, here comes Hilla.
Yes, there he is, Machi Hilla. Can he hang on? No, he's sliding. That's going to block Russo. But yeah, Hilla has made the pass stick. But it spooked Russo. and he is out of position into turn 3. Really would have been slow out of turn 2, but yeah, he does block Freilich, and it is just one loss rather than anything worse for Russo. But Hille, this has to be 100% commitment now, staying in those low 121s, maybe getting a 120 for the next lap or so. That would make an enormous difference to his race.
Yeah, and Russo, I did think he'd blown through the best of his soft tyres a little bit too early there, trying to build the gap. And Hille's closed back in. You saw he didn't get the best exit at the final corner there, was trying to break the toe, but knew he couldn't really stop the inevitable once Hille had the line up the inside there. But Hille nonetheless sliding in, making it as dramatic as possible, and almost giving Freilich an opportunity to come through around the outside. But Hille has so far, I think, managed this race beautifully, made an amazing start around the outside, past Vincent Gut, who was worrying about Freilich, I think, a bit too much, and Freilich got through anyway. And now we're going to see if Freilich, if he's held up by Russo, then Hille could potentially run away with this one until we get to the pit stops, of course. And there we go, Hille again using that trademark outside line as far and wide as he can to get the turn in he needs into turn 1.
Yeah, but this is probably deja vu. We've got the train of 5 to 6 cars. Yeah, 6 cars all in range with Mayer at the tail. So yeah, he'll be probably pleased just to know he can take the slipstream on the straight, and then he can probably lift and coast a little bit to preserve his tires, and then maybe take the undercut. He could possibly pit the earliest out of these guys, slip into the gap that could be open in traffic, and then try and go for a podium from that strategy. But otherwise, yeah, he's in a good position. I wouldn't be too concerned in the TOP. The pit lane, they should be fine with this. 3rd and 6th is fine. So we'll see if Hamming or Gut, are they going to go into a battle here to decide who's best of the rest? Let's see what happens, Ed.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, update on Thomas Harvey's progress. He's gotten ahead of Latinen and Moynier since his spin. So Harvey up to 18th, about 2 seconds behind Arda Erchan. But of course, like you say, Harvey on the softer tyres that are probably significantly worn now, as we see a TOP going up the inside. That's Freilich into second place.
Oh.
Around the outside, and somebody's lost it completely in front of them. That's a lapped car. That must be Federico Marino.
Yeah, it's either Marino or... Yeah, it must be Marino, yeah. So that's just a horrible moment to see dust kicking up just outside your eye line. But yeah, Russo was able to probably take advantage of that and hang on to position with yellow flags waving in that portion of the track. So yeah, that was nearly the moment Freilich needed. But yeah, Hille is nearly 2 seconds clear now. That moment of despair for the back marker has no doubt benefited Hille as well.
Yeah, a bit unexpected there, wasn't it? And Freilich no doubt feeling a little bit frustrated because he feels he probably could challenge Hille if that had not happened, and this definitely plays into Bill Sim's hands now. But further back, Watson is holding on to 9th, but Bulio has got up to 10th ahead of Carlos Martin, his teammate, with Mike Quinn right behind as well. And we're seeing a couple of the leaders come in, including Freilich, so he's going to try and undercut, but Russo's coming in at the same time as well, just ahead of him. Yeah,
Russo was very relaxed to making sure he was nowhere near the speed limit, but Freilich was trying to extract everything he could. So the replay shows just how close it could have been there with the attack.
Yeah, Russo was holding on around the outside. I think even without the yellow flag, he probably would have held on to that.
Yeah, he would have had turn-in advantage there, but yeah, it's still a close call. Another replay, that's Marino. Yeah, that's what happened.
Losing it on the hard. The hards look like they've been a real struggle for these guys in the first stint, haven't they? They've just not given people... The only one who driver's got anything out of them is Alex Lahou, who now, with those pit stops, is up to 12th.
Yeah, very much so. It's already climbed more than half the grid with the benefit of having pitters.
To be fair, Watson has also done very well to stay in the top 7 with his. And here we go, Jack Mayer up the inside then of Frank Hamming. Finally, he waited a while for that opportunity to present itself, and Hamming caught a little bit napping there, I think, into turn 10.
Yeah, he may have taken that for granted, just seeing Vincent Gutt in front. So now Hilla is alert to what the drivers who are competing for the podium have done, and he pits on lap 12 now that he crosses the line in pit lane. And then the other guys have also responded. So Hamming wants to go the longest. Mitchell will inherit P2. Oh no, actually no, he takes to the pits as well. So a lot of drivers are responding. So Pischan is actually going to take second place, and Watson, the top of the range drivers on the harder tire, he actually. Oh, he's actually.
Is Russo going to retake the net lead here? Because it's going to be pretty close coming a bit. Here comes Frelick up the inside of him. And Frelick, there we go, slots into net second there at turn one. And he could go for the net lead now as well if Hiller can't get the tyres up to temperature.
Yeah, the build sim looking a little bit fragile now with tyre temperature slightly below compared to the peak.
I think Hiller was hoping Frelick and Russo be held up in traffic, and unfortunately there was too big of a gap to Eoin on the hards in front of them, so they've all ended up behind. And now they've just got to stay out of trouble and not bump into each other, really. Russo sort of, I think best he can hope for now is third place if things play out as they currently look to be.
Yeah, that seems to be the scenario thus far. Mayer as well, just in camera shot there behind Vincent Gutt. So for Spark's point of view, Vincent is in a good spot to try and help out his teammate, who has of course tumbled down the order with the crash turn 9, I believe it was. So checking out the onboard with Frelick, that's how he made his move. And then yeah, there we go, another version of that replay, the onboard camera. Hamming and Pischan have now taken to their tire change. That should bring them to the end with 10 to go. Carlos Martin, who was indeed the other side of Harvey's incident, he carries on long with Quinn third and Lahou fourth. Mayer makes the move though there, Ed.
Yeah, Mayer really on the move in this stint at the moment. That's Gutt and Hamming dispensed of. Are the net Rexes of Watson and Martin going to try and go to the end though, Owen? I doubt they will. The Quinn and Lahou, I think, are probably going to try and do the same thing though.
Yeah, they probably have to respond. That's the last traffic.
Eoin! Oh, Eoin hit again! Oh
no, that's Russo goes around.
Facing the wrong way.
Yeah.
Such a mess there. They just couldn't get out of each other's way quickly enough.
Yeah, Eoin just obviously trying to mind his own business in a similar vein to what we saw with the Hyperion drivers in race 1, but Frelick wanted him dismissed and contact was made, and unfortunately Russo just couldn't.
Again playing into Message Hiller's hands as well.
Yeah, another big gain for Hiller. He can pull out the time he needs. So we'll check out another race replay and we'll see exactly what happens. So Frelick, this is for position. I correct myself, I did say lap traffic, that's not correct. So Frelick trying to go around the outside of turn 5, then with the shimmy he does make contact, and then because Russo has to slow, he does get spun around.
Was that Jack Mayer that actually hit Russo there?
Yeah,
I think it was the second top car. Yeah. So let's have a look then. There is a Frelick. He tries to dive underneath and almost looks like Eoin has a moment of his own, and there we go. That's the second TOP that just hit, because Russo's trying to react as well, and Mayer's coming in from a long way back, isn't he? And it seems almost like they suddenly bunch up and tighten up because of Eoin having his moment with Frelick here. And I think, oh, there we go. And you could see, and there we go, round the outside goes the... It's a cheeky move from Vincent Gutt to get back through, isn't it?
Yeah, that was opportunism.
I think went off track to do that as well. I'm not sure if... Well, I guess he was avoiding the accident, but probably won't get him in too much trouble.
But he did go all 4 wheels off the road there, so I suppose it is trying to be selfish, but also conscious as well that there was an accident taking place. But now Russo's recovery drive, he's fallen down behind Loic Meunier, who has continued his opening stint here. So Russo on fresher tyres, but they will have been hurt with the spin. Hilla gets a fastest lap. Here comes Russo coming alongside on the start finish straight. DRS should make absolutely certain of that move unless the turn in benefit. No, he's already going to block it. So yeah, Russo with I'm sure a lot of angst and
and here we go.
Plays and Menno Clant 1v1 performs an identical move. And
That's not really but the crucial information here is Hilo is only 8 temps now behind Alex Lahu, who's holding on to 4th place. So now they've all cleared Erchan. Potentially they've got a similar problem with Lahu, who of course is by staying out, and Lahu himself is only about 6 temps now behind Quint, who's 6 temps behind Martin. So all of a sudden Omari Watson finds himself kind of in the box seats here, but Hilo goes all the way around the outside of Alex Lahu there, so Lahu didn't put up much of a fight there, which is probably quite sensible.
It was prime territory to really hit the the ground running and get more 1 minute 20 lap times. This is another case of he's surely going to make an attack.
Hilo has just set fastest lap of the race. That was 1:20.3. Previous lap round. This time he's at 1:21.2, held up ever so slightly, but not for long. Here he goes up the inside then on Mike Quint, and Quint looking to once again gain points on his championship rivals, and that's very brave from Hilo up the inside into turn 3, and he's careful not to take himself and one of our championship leader out.
Yeah, he has to probably tone it down in the high speed corners. It's so difficult to get alongside in equal machinery.
This is helping out Omari Watson, who of course is a couple of seconds up the road, 2.8 seconds ahead of his teammate Martin, who we see just in front of us. So the longer Hilo gets stuck behind here, the better it looks for Omari Watson. It looks like a non-stop strategy from these first, second, third, and Lahu in 5th.
Yeah, that is plausible. It's definitely well worth it. There we go. He's
absolutely storming through late on the brakes there, and nothing that even Mike Quint could do about that one.
Yeah, he was helpless there. That was 100% committed from Hilo. He has the podium back. Now his bid for victory rests on beating the Netrex duo with the remaining 6 laps to go.
I think he's got the time to do it, really. It depends how much Martin defends. We've seen him defend a bit today, haven't we? And look at Hilo, just absolutely confident, getting as wide as he can on that entry into turn 1 once more. He's just absolutely in a rhythm and flying at the moment, and Martin is going to have to get his elbows out very soon.
Yeah, he'll be waiting to see if there's a copycat move. Hilo going deep on the inside of turn 10. He has to just stay.
Yeah, already going right to the inside there at turn 5.
He's watching, but Martini would do well just to stay concentrated. There is in the HGPs, perhaps. No, couldn't have been Walker seen me out of the race at this stage.
Yeah,
so
I think it might have been Hammer up the inside, and that's Hilo through into second. Oh my goodness!
No,
tried to do the same move that he did on Mike Quint, but just got it a little bit too deep there. And Carlos Martin goes, "Oh, thank you very much. I'll take it through." And now Omari Watson is thinking, "Oh, I might just be able to hold on here."
Yeah, it could have been Munier or Marino. One of those drivers is certainly struggling a bit. So
yeah, Mounier back in the pits now.
Yeah, that was the copycat move, but didn't pay off. He went too deep. Now the outside, he's using all the AstroTurf, and it will stick this time. He does have the tires to guide him along.
That was gutsy once again from Message Hilo, and he needed to do that. Fair play. 3.6 seconds to gap to Omari Watson. That's the gap he needs to close to win. And look how much earlier Martin braked. He almost got caught out by that, didn't he?
He was still
overconfidence into turn 10.
Yeah, still in a high gear before that turn-in was completed. And Freilich now getting by Lahu. Is there any chance he can challenge Quint next, though? Because Martin will give him that slipstream on DRS on this mini straight. Let's see what occurs.
Quint is in an unenviable position because he's trying to fight with Martin for position, but he's also got Freilich on better tyres, fresher tyres right behind him. Not to mention we've got Mayer and Gut, I think, about to swap positions here.
It doesn't seem to be the case at the moment, but yeah, it could be.
Wait till they get to the straight, no doubt. And the gap between Hiller and Watson still about 2 seconds, so he's taken a whole second out of him there. I think it's a matter of time for Hiller before he retakes the lead here. Nothing Watson can do. Those tyres must be absolutely spent at this point.
Yeah, they're going to be down to the low health at this stage. Mayer inside line doesn't pay. He has to stick behind Vincent Gut for the moment, but Freilich, yeah, turn 4. It's not an easy overtaking point. It could work.
Oh, nearly hit the back of Quint there.
That's a slide and kick up of dust.
Yeah,
So
Quint's going to have to get extremely defensive here. He's going to have to let Martin go here if he wants to hold off Simon Freilich.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be distracted or put in
Hiller's got within a second of the lead though, so Watson is going to be looking in his mirrors thinking, this might be a bit too much even for me. As we see Erchan in trouble, dropping behind Piskazan.
So yeah, it could be the start-finish straight, which determines Maciej Hiller's bid to win the race. And we'll see how that fares. But yeah, for Freilich, this is so important. Just to knock a point out of Mike Quint's hands, that would be a handy swing, even if there's still a way to go. It is round 7 after all. So here we go. Hiller is readying his launch. He's following and following, and O'Mari can only take the inside line, but that's exactly what Hiller wanted him to do. It is the position change. Hiller will go to the end now and try and get that elusive victory.
Yeah, but if I was Amari Watson, I'd argue Hiller overtook me off track there. Turn 1, by getting all 4 wheels off, but we'll have to see on that one, as everyone seems to be going as wide as they like on the entry to some of these corners, because we're seeing that looks like, is that Lahu doing the exact same thing as well? Yeah, here we go then. Watch on board. Far to the left does he go then? Ooh, that looked a bit marginal there to me. I think he still had wheels on the curb though, so he might be fine.
Yeah, but there are definitely times where he has gone all 4 wheels off. And now Freilich still waiting to see. So it is Martin who is actually performing the heavy lifting here for Quint. If it was a 1v1 fight,
more, I think, for his teammate Watson, rather than
it will help.
It's very much against Quint and against Freilich as well. So this is absolutely excellent between the two title contenders. It seems the best of the. Not everyone has been able to keep the softs alive in this train, having to fight so hard with the guys who started on the harder tyres.
Yeah, now this is actually a golden opportunity for the other TOP. He's on the inside of Vincent Gut. And no, he won't get it.
Yeah, Gut just braking as late as he can around the outside. But here comes Jack Mayer then.
Yeah.
He's got the inside for turn 3, so you have to be patient and wait for the opportunity to emerge there. And it has done so. So that's the second time he's cleared Vincent Gut in this race now. And now Mayer released to fight Alex Lahu, who's on significantly more worn tyres.
So yeah, there we go on the replay. Mayer had the move done. It was just a case of turn 3, staying tight to the apex for checking the mirrors and then going high before the entry to the right-hander of turn 4. If anything, Mike Quint, it's a bit loose out of turn 9. And we can see if Freilich will go to the outside, he will.
Yeah, Freilich getting a lovely turn, but sliding wide, and that's going to let Alex Lahu back through.
Yeah, but Lahu will be on all the tyres as well.
And
watch
there's
out.
Jack Mayer in this as well, so the two TOPs need to make sure they don't trip over one another. Freilich will get the inside for the final 2 corners, but Lahu to him, sticks his foot in. Wow.
Goodness gracious, that's the courage. I know it didn't work out in the first race.
Keep your eyes on Jack Mayer. Is he going to have DRS on Simon Freilich? He's going to try and go round the outside of him into turn 1, Eoin.
Oh,
that's
synchronized. Full trust in one another to make that work. Freilich has his place back, but so important for Jack Mayer that he makes this pass before the end of the race. 1 lap to go, of course. And
this is music to the ears of Netrex, isn't it? They're all squabbling with each other rather than them.
That's true. Martin is doing a splendid job. A double podium at home is on the line. So we'll see if he does complete the dream, really. It won't be the ultimate dream, but a double podium at home, that is absolutely wonderful for him. But Quint will have a decision to make. Will he go for broke, or will he try and defend what he has? We'll see. Martin goes to the outside. Quint, though, yeah, he's going to take it sensible for the moment, but it could leave Freilich with a chance. No, he does wobble, though. Freilich has to use what he can, but yeah, Hille is just a fraction of a second away from guaranteeing his win. So there we go. Maciej Hille is finally a winner in 2023 Formula Sprint 1. He's been waiting a long time for that. Amari Watson, I'd be pleased as Punch to get that second, and Martin locks out the remaining spot on the podium for his Netrex team. Quint 4th and Freilich 5th. So yeah, that's more sensible driving for Quint, keeping his streak alive. And Harvey 13th, so good comeback.
Yeah, excellent drive from Massey Chiles, with his teammate Maxime Boulier. I think is just going to miss out on points down in 16th, unfortunately. But it's definitely he didn't put a foot wrong in that race. He was able to. I think he showed the confidence because he pit a lap after Freilich and the others, and he was able to clear that traffic late on much quicker than they were. And here we go. This is Freilich trying to go around the outside of Mike Quint, which led to all that late. You saw the traction just got away from him there. And I wonder if Freilich pushed his tyres a little bit too much, trying to clear his championship rival there. But in the end, as I sort of didn't think they would do it, but the crazy guys, they went and did it. They went on the harder tyre all the way to the end without having to make a pit stop. And in the end, it got them 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 6th.
Yeah, they'll be very pleased with that. It takes a lot of cunning, pull off a zero stopper. Yeah, Maciej Hille. I know what he's been capable of in race 2s, and at last it does work out for him. So Build Sim on their way now, the red team getting the gold for this sprint race, and Amari Watson and Carlos Martin for Netrex finishing 2nd and 3rd. Mike Quint gaining a little bit more on his championship rivals in the TOP cars. So Quint 4th, Freilich completing the top 5. Alex Lahou, another comeback drive for him in 6th. Jack Mayer, 7th place for him. Vincent Gutt gets the leadership for Spark in 8th. Donuts there for our race winner.
I thought he was just taking his normal line there, but he didn't turn it into donuts.
Yeah. So Vincent Gutt 8th, Frank Hamming 9th, and Luke Mitchell, a great cameo weekend for him. He gets the top 10 for his trouble. Then Federico Russo, his reverse grid pole, it wasn't to be top 10 in the end, but yeah, 11th place and some points, that'll do. Matthias Pischan, P12 there for Hyperion, so another solid run for them. Thomas Harvey, who went spinning after contact at turn 9, he does get 13th position with Menno Klont 14th, and Arda Urchan has managed to finish P15 after some squabbles in the opening lap that he's trying to avoid. Maxime Beaulieu, Levine Kishore, Juanma Fuentes, Jassi Latanen, and Federico Marino finish in the top 20 but are empty-handed, unfortunately. And a host of DNFs, unfortunately, at the end. It is Lucchini, Munier, Panashenko, Zubinski, Hoekstra, and Miram all retiring from the race. And yeah, there we go, Ed. So before we take an interview segment, what did you think of the second race there?
Certainly eventful. Lots of incidents, lots of great strategy calls, brave strategy calls. That, and you have to say, although Buildsim may have won the race, I think Netrex probably in the team's championship, they're overall winners today with strong results in both races. But the TOP guys, you got to feel Mike Quint doing very, very well to hold off from Simon Freilich. And I do wonder, from Russo's point of view, if Alpha Delta might protest Jack Mayer running into the back of their driver and spinning him around there. But I'm sure Jack Mayer probably felt he couldn't have reacted in time or done anything different. But anyway, sort of all sorts of, there's so many stories that I don't really know where to look, to be honest. But Massey Chila getting a well-deserved first win as I think we're always expected it to come at some point, and particularly in a race too. And in there, the opportunity was there, and he absolutely took it with both hands. And fair play to him. That was a beautiful drive.
Yeah, he was definitely not going to play zero stopper today. He knows how strong he was on a soft tire run at the end. It paid off beautifully this go around. So, yeah, that's the months and months of effort. It does pay off, and with the season is going to be all full tilt again into the summer months. Yeah, that is crucial for him and his team, just to know the wins are possible. They have been waiting for it, and they got it. So, well done.
And an honorable mention to Alex Lahu going from the very back to, I think it was 6th in the end, just holding off Jack Mayer. So he was another guy to do the non-stop. And in the end, it was kind of the only strategy for him because he needed to hold on to those positions. And I think Lahu drove very, very tidily considering how messy race 1 was there. So good, he could get something out of today at least.
Yeah, he knows. He said it himself in chat. He had a podium-worthy car, just didn't work out when he made contact with Martin. Turn 7, I believe it was. Just speared him off. And yeah, he proved that the pace was certainly alive, and he does get a handful of points, but a really mediocre weekend in the wider context for TTS off. We probably their biggest letdown since perhaps San Marino. It all went wrong there. So yeah, that was the case of Lahu having a double DNF in San Marino. So that will bring up some bad memories, but yeah, there's still time to make up for Ed. So yeah, just got to dust down and try again next time.
Yeah, a long way to go in the season. If it sounds like we're filling and waiting for people to go into the interview room, then that's exactly what's happening at the moment. We're looking at an empty interview room and hoping somebody will want to talk to us, but it seems that I've come along and everyone's scampered. So, or perhaps it's just late in the evening and Messi Chiller wants to celebrate his victory, as indeed probably deserved Jack Mayer as well from winning race 1. But certainly considering it's Barcelona and its reputation is not for too much action. I thought that was a pair of very exciting races, particularly the second half of race 2 and pretty much second half of race 1, and pretty much all of race 2, I think. Was very entertaining.
Yeah, the race 1 threatened to be a dull fest, but it all changed on tire strategy. And we do see we have Maciej Hilla, who will be dancing for joy with the race victory. Is that the case, Maciej? You proud as punch?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've been waiting for this for a long, long time. I didn't expect it to come like in this race, to be honest. But everything went just right in the second race, and yeah, got that win finally.
Yeah, and it was cemented by that amazing start you made from, I think, was it third or fourth on the grid, where you're able to get past Frelick and Vincent Gatt, and then later in the first stint you were able to clear Federico Russo, and then you pit a lap later than just came out ahead, and then it was a case of getting through the non-stoppers, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think at the start I did a better job than Frelick, and that's what kind of cemented me, because after I got past, I think it was Arda, I got like a really big gap. Also, shout out to Arda, because we're in the same team, and he let me through, and we did some nice teamwork there to be able to pull a gap. But yeah. Shout out to everyone at Elite Sim as well, Elite Sim Academy. Carter, obviously. Shout out to Rodrigo, my race engineer. He's like big part of why I'm able to even be at the front. His setups are amazing, honestly. And yeah, I'm very happy with this win.
Final thing I have to ask you about Maciej is the line, especially into turn 1. Pretty much throughout, you were one of the ones going wide as possible. In fact, I was worried when you overtook Omari Watson for the lead that you had done it off track, but I think you just had the 2 right-hand wheels still on the curb, so you're probably going to be all right.
Yeah. I noticed some of the people who were going tight tighter than me. I think that could have made like a little bit of a difference, maybe. I don't know. I think
I
so.
think it's a trend, in fairness, Mache. I'll just quickly wrap up and just ask about the first race, because you tried the two-stopper, if I'm right in saying, but it probably didn't give out the maximum reward, because we know you were setting 1 minute 20s on a consistent basis on soft. So was it just the case of the track being a little bit too generous to the tires on the one-stopper that cost you another podium, perhaps?
Perhaps. I feel like if I did do a one-stop on the first race, I wouldn't have been able to finish. The tire for me was really bad, unfortunately. So I did have to do a two-stop in the first race, which was the slower strategy, you could see. But fortunately, in the second race, the one-stop worked. Yeah, I'm very happy, that it did. Yeah, in the first race, I feel like if I qualified higher, maybe I would have been able to pull more out of it. But at the start, I got really held up, and that's where I think it cost me a lot of time in the end. In that first race.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a shame. Yeah, traffic was a big deal, in fairness, but yeah, Canadian Grand Prix should be the next round. I wish you the very best of luck there, Mache, and congratulations once again.
Thank you, and yeah, bye guys. See you in Canada.
I suppose we should give another minute or two to anyone else who wishes to participate. Yeah, great interview there for Mache. He is buzzing with that long-awaited victory.
Best of luck.
I think Ed might have a connection issue again, but yeah, we have no follow-up interviews at the moment, so I'll just give people another minute or two if they wish to join. The interview room should be open rather than being just a hurry-up job. It should give people the chance just to have their say after the race. So yeah, I don't mind waiting a little bit longer. Is that you back, Ed? Yeah, so still no takers, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm back now. So
there you are. Okay.
I realized I think my CPU was just completely overheating, and I realized because I'd taken the power cable out, and I realized I was about to run out of battery. But hey, if that happens on stream, it doesn't matter too much.
Yeah.
So I think, unfortunately, we might have to. Sorry about that. I think, unfortunately, we might have to. Doesn't sound like anyone else wants to come and talk to us, but it was great to hear from Messi Chila, though.
Yeah,
you
really.
Tell, and Rodrigo Cavallo was typing all over the chat, cheering him on as well on that run to the line there. So that was absolutely great to see so much support, and great support, of course, for Alex Lahou from his fans as well, getting that top six finish.
Yeah, he's got a big fan club, as well as a few drivers that like to tease him every now and again. But
I'd be interested to see what the points look like, because I believe Mike Quint may have, with third and fourth, may have done enough to hold on to the overall points lead at the end of those two races.
Yeah, he may have lost 1 point at most to Mayer, if anything. But he definitely clawed back the points on the TOP duo, and indeed Harvey would have sunk in race 2. So he only finished 13th, I believe it was. So yeah, huge loss of points there in that now broken three-way tie. So yeah, it is about time to call it an evening. Heigo Poom, absolutely fantastic job for him to step in on the cameras. We are still hoping to train up a new camera worker for FS1 on Thursday nights. If you are interested, please get in touch.
Camera worker. Let's spice up a little bit. It's broadcast director.
Yeah, broadcast director. Okay.
Not just some plonker who controls the cameras.
Yeah, broadcast director Heigo Poom. Wonderful job for us today. And Ed Hunter, you really have shone again today on very short notice, and probably minus notice. You turned up
Oh, thank you, Eoin.
during your editing work, and have spared a very lonely evening for ourselves. But yeah, thanks so much. And then for myself, Eoin Harmon, it is thank you very much and good night.